It's Thursday, March 23rd, 2017. This is the Short Time Wrestling Podcast. My name is Jason Bryant. Hadn't planned on doing a show this week because, or any show for really any network, any of the shows that I host. I was not going to do it. I was going to take the week off, spend the time with my wife and kids, and generally recover after the last 4 weeks. But Thursday morning, March 23rd, we learned that recently retired Wisconsin-Parkside head wrestling coach Jim Koch had passed away after injury sustained while jogging in St. Louis while he was attending the NCAA Division I Wrestling Championships. He was on a run, came off a curb, got hit by a car, and had been in critical condition for the last couple days, and he passed on Thursday morning. So Jim Koch coached at Wisconsin-Parkside for 41 or 42. Yeah, it was over 4 decades. This was a guy who gave his life to the sport, figuratively and literally. And I not knowing him the way I know a lot of coaches, I'm reaching out to you, the wrestling community, because over 40 plus years of college coaching, the number of individuals that this man has had an impact on is in the thousands. I'm just looking for a few of you to tell me some good Jim Koch stories, to celebrate this man's life in a way that is a little different. So my suggestion here is, if you've got a story to tell, if you want some type of memory to be thrown out there in the world of cyberspace for as long as this network will be up, it'll be as long as it's going to take, as long as you could save it on your phone or your computer or whatever, I request you do this. You can either do one of two things. You can go to matttalkonline.com/contact. And there are 2 things on the page. You can actually click the voicemail and you can leave up to a 5-minute message. And be sure to state your name and where you're calling from. And you can hit the green record button. It's going to ask you for permission to use your computer microphone. Or you can send in a written message with the contact form below. Or I'm actually going to turn off my studio line. You can call 651-315-8171. That is my studio line here for the Matt Talk Podcast Network. Now, I'm going to turn that off so it does not ring and it goes straight to voicemail. So between now, which is March 23rd, about 11 o'clock at night when I record this, and Tuesday morning, March 28th, you've got about 5 days. I'll leave the voicemail off so we can go through and get stories. So if you're familiar with using your computer, with the voicemail, you want to send in something written, I'll read it. Make sure you send me a pronunciation of your name, or you can just leave a voicemail, and those voicemails are all saved in my machine, and actually will save the file. So I'll just say the preferred method is the voicemail. You can go to, again, 651-315-8171, or the matttalkonline.com/contact voicemail page. You can leave it's through a SpeakPipe app. There's also an orange tab on the left side of the website at matttalkonline.com where you can click and leave a voicemail, and it will leave a pop-up. It'll say start recording. So those are the 2 things. And to get the ball rolling, I reached out to Minnesota State Mankato head coach Jim Mikowski, a guy who's known Jim a long, long time, about 20 plus years. He'll explain this. And here's what he had to say about Jim Koch and honoring his life and what we can do as a sport to make sure that we get the word out, because it's a D1 world a lot of times, and we don't understand what guys like Jim Koch mean to the sport of wrestling. So here's Coach Mikowski from Mankato.
Yeah, it was tough news hearing about the passing of a great man like Coach Jim Koch, head coach at Wisconsin-Parkside for 42 years, and a great friend of mine. I'm guessing a lot of people. He probably doesn't even know how many people he's influenced and how good of a friend he was. We all know it. I mean, there's been a lot of outpouring in the D2 community, and I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this opportunity that you're giving us to share some of the stories about a great guy that's meant a lot to not only the University of Wisconsin-Parkside wrestling family, but to Division II in general. For me, my relationship with him started over 20 years ago. We've been good friends since I got to Minnesota State Mankato in '93, and he was one of those guys, a young coach, and you're trying to figure things out and how to act, how to operate your program and stuff. And he was one of those guys that I looked up to as a mentor. He didn't know it at first, but I started picking his brain, and we became friends and really became pretty close since he retired. We talked quite a bit. And, he talked more than I did. There would be 2-hour conversations where he liked to explain things out and share a lot of history. And I'm definitely going to miss those phone calls. And but a lot of people don't know, even since he's retired, but he started the NCAA Division II Hall of Fame. He always said he was the chair of the committee, but he was the committee. There was no committee other than him. So he started it, and he ran that for 20-some years. And then he is also responsible he's the chair of that committee too. He is the committee, but he started and is implemented and pretty much did all the work for our all academic teams, which he's got to sift through, a couple hundred transcripts and stuff every single year. And he's the perfect guy to do it because he was disciplined and very diligent. And that kind of stuff, I mean, he loved the history, so he really recognized and honored the past, the wrestlers that made Division II wrestling great. I know he really enjoyed that, and can't thank him enough for that. And then honoring the high achievers, the guys that achieve on the mat, but they also do a great job in the classroom. And I can't imagine how many lives he's impacted just on that stuff alone. But he definitely was a great example for the rest of us in Division II. How to give and how to become involved with the sport outside of your program, and basically kind of find out how the sausage is made, and then become part of that process to keep it great, because it just doesn't happen by accident. Really, really tough news. Take all that stuff aside, I just really gonna miss his friendship, and been talking with some of the Parkside people, the Becker families. We've been chatting back and forth a little bit, and just can't imagine what all of his former wrestlers and all the people at University of Wisconsin-Parkside, the lives that he's impacted there. He was a classic coach. Classic coach from everything from the look to how he acted, and he really liked fairness and following the rules to not just what's on paper, but what their intent is. And just a classic coach and a great guy, and he's going to be missed. Now, I'd encourage not just Division II people, but I'm thankful for this opportunity for the Division II people that knew him really well, and all of us appreciated him, to share their stories in this form. And really encourage people to take the time and send a message, get it out there for others to hear, and maybe it can help us all kind of get through this thing together.
Once again, you can go to matttalkonline.com/contact, leave a voicemail through the SpeakPipe plug-in right there on the page. Leave your written comment. Again, please tell me your name, where you're calling or leaving the message from, or how to pronounce your name. That way I can get it right. Or you can just leave a voicemail at the studio line at 651-315-8171. That's all for the Short Time Wrestling Podcast. Thoughts and prayers go out to the entire Wisconsin Parkside wrestling community.